It's been a school in Romsey since 1865, and the school's been on this site for the last 12 years. We've got an enrolment of about 400 students, and we're growing steadily. This is a semi-rural environment with many of the students coming from within the township, but a significant number coming from properties outside town as well. The aim of this video is to share with you many of the improvements we've made through our quality journey in both the classroom and in the whole school organisation, how we've used the PDSA process, how we've gone about capturing the memory, and the improvements we've made with our performance and development culture.
The different things that teachers do in the classroom.
We have an expectation that not only in the school organisation at staff level, but also in classrooms, that opportunities for improvement are being developed in all classes.
We're the Rubbish Busters and we're all in grade 4. We're going to tell you a story about our journey to improve our rubbish in our school.
Our journey started when we realised that there was a huge rubbish problem.
My students had already identified that it was a problem that they wanted to do something about.
We went out onto the oval and we collected a bag of rubbish. There was a lot of paper, lollies, lolly wrappers, Milo cup lids, apples, and a lot of things like that. We sorted it out and we found out that there was 39 pieces of rubbish coming from home, 29 pieces of rubbish coming from the canteen, and there was 3 pieces of compost.
We made these signs to give out to each classroom to put on their bins. This is the recycling sign. This is the rubbish sign. And this is the compost sign. We used to fill 1.5 skips, and now I fill 1 skip, and we're very happy with that.
Staff realise that for whole school improvement, it needs to go through that PDSA process, and that we don't make decisions off the cuff. We identify issues, we prioritise them, and then teams are formed, and that's how we move forward.
If we have a look at the school holiday aerobics training, I think all that is on the bottom of it.
If something's not working, well, you just go back through the PDSA process and work through it again and make necessary changes.
We're always getting put into different roles, whether it be the PSC coordinator, whether it be the transition coordinator. If all these things are documented, it makes it so much easier for that transition.
By doing it this way, you're not just putting a band-aid over something that's not working, like giving it a quick fix. We're actually going through the whole process, looking at it from all areas of the school community, from the office through to the principal, through to teachers, through to the classroom, and we're working through all areas to try and find where we can improve.
The school system manual is made up of 3 folders: policies, processes and supporting documents. So each policy and process document has a header specifying which part of the manual you're in, what section of the manual, whether it's curriculum, management, students or parents, and then it has information to track the number of the document. So it gives you the issue, and through that we can see how many reviews we've had, and it has the date of when that review occurred. It also gives you the page number, so you know how many pages in the document and whether the document is complete. As improvement teams completed their PDSAs, we found that we wanted to capture the memory of the flowcharts that had been generated by these improvements and put them immediately into the school system manual.
The documents that we developed started off with our consent for head lice inspections, which every child has to fill in on, or parents fill in on enrolment. The next document we developed was our head lice policy, which states very clearly what our role is in checking head lice and what the role of staff is in managing the problem at school. We then flow charted the process so that we know that we have to check for consent. We know what action to take in terms of when we find a child with head lice or eggs, so that we have a process in place where nothing gets missed. We know that we have to do follow-up checks. And the last document we developed was a letter to indicate to parents that we had conducted a check.
Many of our staff had valuable documents on their own personal computers, but when they were transferred to different areas of the school, or maybe to another school, they could be lost. So in order for us to have all of the memory of improvement within our school available for all our staff, they were put into the school memory and then into the school system manual.
Okay, today we're looking through the school systems manual, which is located on our administration server. We're going to locate a learning improvement plan today, so I'm going to go to the policy manual. I'm going to go into general. Now, there's a few different ways we can locate information. Because I don't know the system very well, I'm going to look through the systems manual alphabetical contents. But today I'm looking for a learning improvement plan. So I'm going to scroll down to L. I've located here. It's a supporting document, and the call number is 512.100.1. I'll look through, these are all the supporting documents. So I'm looking for 512.100.1, which is located here. Learning improvement plan, and there we have the documentation that I need for my student.
Staff are aware of the processes and procedures that they need to follow for certain things within the office environment. One of those could be when they're ordering goods, with filling out purchase orders and completing the process through to delivery and then returning the invoices to the office for processing.
When you take over a new responsibility in the school, you don't have to generate new documents. So someone who's suddenly moved into the prep area and has to do the parent information session can look in the manual and find the PowerPoint presentation that was done the previous year, and then scroll through it and add some new improvements. This is the 2005 one, which was generated from the 2004 one that was already in the manual.
The principal initiates the process. The office prepares and distributes the pro formas to the relevant staff. You go away and you complete your self-assessment. I think these fours were certainly, when you rated yourself as a 4 on the 0 to 5 scale, certainly strong points. All right, so let's have a look at your goals that you've set yourself, your strengths and your goals.
Okay. Because I've just moved from the junior unit to the senior unit, and I need to get a bit more of a handle on the middle years curriculum.
Teachers were used to identifying their learning goals, discussing them with a member of the leadership team, and for us to construct our professional development to support teachers' learning and then reflect on it throughout the year.
I sort of saw myself as just starting out on that diary path. So, but then reading along, I see the word planners, and I certainly do. I have actually underrated myself.
We'd already worked on using data and multiple sources of feedback to support teachers measure their improvements and to identify where they needed to go with their classroom programs.
We inform parents that for that first week of school we won't be running a normal curriculum, and we'll just be focusing on all of the values and the bounce back and quality tools.
We really examine each value closely, and the students get to have a really strong idea about what they can be doing to live the school's values.
Well, learning is about you can take your own responsibilities for learning, and you can learn from your own mistakes, so you don't always have to go to the teacher. And you can also help others to learn. Happiness is just, you can't be angry with everyone all the time. You gotta make others feel happy if they're upset. Caring, you can't just not care about people. And if they're crying, you just care. You don't just say, oh, he's a sook or something. Relationships, you might not like everyone in every time, everywhere, but you can't just be mean to them. And inclusion, we go back to them if people forget them and start not doing what they say.
We set a class mission and vision to really give them guidance throughout the year about what they're working towards. We examine why we come to school, why we need to learn, and that's one activity we use is called the 5 whys, and we go through that process of why we come to school and keep asking the question, come up with some really interesting answers that the kids, why they think they need to come to school.
We talk a lot about, what is a good student, what is a good teacher. And so once those criteria or a benchmark are set, then for the rest of the year we continually reflect on those statements that have been made at the beginning of the year, and particularly the values are not something that's seen as one-off things, they're something that are embedded into our culture and used continually. We revisit many of the quality tools, and many of the quality tools that are used again are to set up our process and management within the classroom.
The classroom teachers get the opportunity to discuss with their students the processes that happen during the day in their classroom. That may be what happens when you first come into the classroom, hanging up your bag, putting your lunch in a certain position, those sorts of things.
Well, the parking lot has 4 sections on it, which is what is going well, what are the questions, what needs improvement, and what are the ideas for improvement.
When we get to the class meeting, all of the things that are written on the parking lot are addressed at that moment.
You might have a problem and it's only a small problem to yourself, but then when you put it on a parking lot, we share it with everybody else. And then it becomes discussed and dealt with.
From our experience, there are some critical elements to continuing on our quality journey, and these have been strong leadership from the principal, the school council and the leadership team that this is the best way to entrench continuous improvement. A sense of renewal that we needed annual programs such as beginning and continuing quality with an effective improvement team to refine and support those programs each year. We need a sense of discipline to address issues through the improvement teams using the 9-step PDSA and giving all staff a chance to get involved throughout the year. That we use tools to make decisions and that we capture the memory and study the results and monitor how the improvement is being implemented over time. There are many benefits to our school from our quality journey. We've got a whole school focus on where we want to go and how we're going to get there. There's now greater consistency across the school on a whole range of issues of just how we do business. We now use data to base many of our decisions around, and we can measure improvement. Romsey Primary School's committed to continuous improvement through our quality journey. It impacts on everything we do. It's how we do business, and we wouldn't do it any other way.